64. Here we come.
Are we live?
Live.
All right,
Yes,
we're
we
live. Okay, we are live. We are live.
Episode
Welcome
64.
to the Three Marketeers Show. You know, this is episode 64, not 74. I thought
64.
74.
Oh,
Then
that
we
would be
got
so
another
nice.
36 to go, and that's like 64. Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, at least you have to see us for another 36 weeks. That's kind of like, I don't know about you, man, but yeah, let's do that. So this is the Three Marketeers Show. That's what we do every Wednesday night. We go live at 10 p.m. on every Wednesday night to discuss about digital marketing related topics. And as usual, right? If you have not met us before, then just go one
Now you
round.
do.
Right? We have Manfred on the top right, who is from Singapore. Manfred is a very seasoned digital marketer, and we have like Andrew on the bottom. Is he left or right? Anyway, so the one with the black background. So that's Andrew. Andrew is a email marketing specialist, and I'm a Facebook ads coach. And we have YS here today. Now, the topic today is very interesting because I think it's just about time, right? So because we are just wrapping up the 2021 and we are entering 2022. Like it or not, it's just gonna be like, I don't know. So we have YS here discussing a very interesting topic. But before we go into the topic itself, right? Now, then we would like to invite Manfred because Manfred invited YS.
Yep.
So we will allow Manfred to do a bit of introduction. Then we will pass it over to YS, right?
Yep.
So over to you, Manfred.
Okay, so YS actually, I met him through a mutual friend. So he wear multiple hats, and you can see from the screen his projection from R2D2, like the Jedi's from the Star Wars. Yeah, lousy jokes. Okay,
I let you go with that.
So obviously, YS has actually a lot of experience both on client and agency side. He does consulting and he also does teaching, training itself. So maybe I think let YS himself to self-intro will be even better. YS, you take over from here.
Sure, YS,
Thanks,
please do.
Manfred. Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me here today, and thanks for the listener to joining us and to watch this. For myself, I do wear multiple hats. So right now, I hold a day job at Omnicom Media Group. So one of the biggest agency network around the world. The first few being WPP Group, and Omnicom is one of the bigger one among those. I'm an associate media director. So essentially, what I do is I manage campaigns, digital media campaigns around the world. Right now, 21 countries for different clienteles across different channels. So from social to display to search to offline OOH also.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's my day job. Prior to this, I was running my own agency. So we were serving more of SME clientele. Middle of this year, opportunity came out whereby I managed to merge my agency with another company. So I thought, well, I have been serving SME clientele for the past 2 to 3 years. It's great, really, but I thought I wanted to grow more into the MNC kind of space in serving the MNC clientele. So that is where now I'm wearing multiple hats. No conflict of interest, I would say, because one serves the SME and one is the MNC. Then in my free time on the weekends, I do teach. So I teach digital marketing at different universities and schools in Singapore.
Wow, you're a busy man.
Hardworking, bro.
Do you sleep, to be honest?
That's why he actually purposely go live in a very dark scenario. Then you won't see his dark circle and all that.
So this is
Probably
actually
doesn't
pre-recorded one. He got the AI talking to us right now.
Wow, holy shit, really? AI nowadays become that Changi already.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Wow. So that's a very interesting combination because now in a way you are actually having your hands on the SME sector as well as the MNC sector. So what's the difference? I mean, before we go to the topic, I think I'd like this discussion a little bit. What's the difference between these two segments of audiences? But before that, YS, let me quickly bring up and say hi first, because I have a YouTube member actually commented at 12 a.m. last night, right? Welcome in, Mohammed. Yep. I'm not sure whether you're still here. Anyway, Mohammed Arkid, and this is Richard. What's up, Richard? And this is our fourth marketeer, GY. And that's GY, right? Just to quickly say hi to everyone. Guys, remember today we talk about trends. And as you can see, we have an agency people who actually manages both sides of the world, the SME and the MNC. So any questions, guys, you're in for a treat. On top
And he
of whatever
doesn't
we are
sleep
supposed to
because he
discuss
also
now.
teaches on his part-time.
Correct. He also teach. Like now I only teach, I also cannot done already. Now you talk about managing with clients. I have no idea what happened, man.
That's why he's a superhero.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but
got
what's the difference
superpower.
between these two segments, YS? I mean, probably give us a bit of brief understanding.
Okay, I think between both SME and MNC clientele, both have their similarity. The greatest in terms of difference, I would say, for SME, the business owner, the small media enterprises, they are more driven in the sense of both are driven for ROI, but for the SME, they are hard on the what's the business outcome? How much sales can I get directly correlating to the ad
Short
spend?
term lah. Short term.
Yeah, short term. So I tends to usually need to convey to them, if you focus on those ROI driven kind of digital marketing, which is great, but you are chasing for sales today, you're forgetting about your sales tomorrow. In the sense whereby in MNC, they typically have a budget plan for the year, saying, now take this will be our brand advertising. This say, for instance, another 50%, please do our tactical campaign. In MNC, what I realized is you need to do more of a reporting to them, a lot of more account management. Whereas in the SME kind of space, when you meet someone or you pitch, right, straight away, they will ask things like, do you think you can really close our sales for us? Nah, take our money, let's run the campaign. There's even to the sense that sometimes they will just say, we let you handle everything from now on. Take it, just let it show results to us the next month.
Yep.
So it's more on the bottom line, you say that the SME segment and the MNCs. Not to say they are not into the bottom line, but I guess they sort of have a kind of like a different vision compared to the SMEs, in a way.
Correct.
That's a very interesting kind of like explanation. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, YS.
That's
So
good.
today we're going to talk about trend. Okay?
All right, let's go.
Right.
So
we-
YS, just want to check with you. You got a crystal ball now. You can see the future.
I thought he's a
Curious.
but I believe I'm actually very excited for today's episode because now we know that he's coming from various angles and he's actually involved in a lot of things. I believe he's able to offer us some very interesting kind of like insights into what happened, what will happen next year. But before we go into the 5 predictions that you have, right, so-called the trend that you kind of like predicted for next year, but probably you can actually quickly round us up about what you see as a trend for 2021.
Okay, so in the end of 2020, I'm referring to my screen on the right because I made some notes. So at the end of 2020, my agency back then actually predicted some of this trend for 2021. So 5 of them, the first one being SEO, multi-dimensional SEO, in the sense that whereby SEO is no longer just about web or content, it's about going into multi-directional audio content, image content, video content. Okay, so it's really huge in going to those kind of different direction, more than just web content, but more of audio and video. The second trend for 2021 we predicted is actually video marketing. Okay.
Hey, don't laugh lah.
True, I agree.
Actually, very true.
Yeah, so a lot more on authenticity and trustworthiness of content. So last year we see a lot of big budget cuts on the video production. A lot of companies who struggles to go by, so upload contents whereby they produce by themselves and receive great comments, receive great feedback, because in times of trying, right, they're very authentic, they're very trustworthy, they upload whatever they can do within internally. So literally they just shoot using their handphone and they upload, and things like that do go viral last year. Yeah. Third trend, this sort of didn't really take off as well as I wish to, web push notification. So web push notification. So essentially what it is sometimes you come across a browser website, then you receive a pop-up asking if you are okay to receive notification from this website. Okay, why did we included it as one of the trend in 2020 is because we see things like email marketing, iOS 15 and so on does make a huge impact, right? So we see web push notification as a sort of replacement to email marketing, in the sense that if you look at the stats, the open rates are much higher, the click-through rate is just way more higher, just like SMS and WhatsApp, right? Much more higher than email marketing. But sad to say, web push notification didn't really take off as well as we wish to. Fourth trend, selling with social commerce. I think this is huge. I will talk more about it. It's still one of the trend for 2022 that I will elaborate on. And lastly, consolidation of media channels. So I think over the years, multiple platforms has arises, TikTok, Instagram, WeChat, and so on. So 2020, I predicted some of these platforms, right, they are just way too much for a team or digital marketing team or business owner to handle by themselves. So I predicted that some of the business owners decided to truly focus on just 2 or 3 of the platform rather than going all out across all the different channels.
Wow, that's very interesting predictions that you have. Like, Manfred, did you write down what was the? Let's go through a roundup. That's your job, right? No? Okay. Nah, I wasn't listening to the teacher just now.
Oops.
Okay. YS, help us round up because I only caught like 3 to 4 of them. The first one was, let's go do a quick one. The first one was you were saying
multi-directional SEO.
Multi-directional SEO.
Okay.
So audio,
video, and
images,
video
audio.
SEO. Okay.
all right.
The second one was video marketing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bring it authentic and very trustworthy. Bring true in
Self-produced
your
video
production.
marketing.
Self-produced, I mean authentic, meaning that you can't be like very much like sharper,
Use a
polish
handphone
kind of thing.
on the
Yeah,
spot.
correct.
Yeah.
Not
Correct.
commercially
Very
produced.
good. So the
All
video, okay.
Video,
Correct. The
web.
third one was
The third one was the
web
web
push.
push notification. Yes, I like
Correct.
that. That's a very interesting one. And the
Yeah.
fourth one was
Fourth one is selling with social commerce.
called social commerce, and the fifth
Correct.
one was
Consolidation of media channels.
consolidation of media channels. I think that's kind of like, I would say all the 5 predictions were kind of like true to what did happen in 2021. We already can see quite a number of kind of like people were actually pivoting and kind of changing their direction and all that, because especially towards the last part of it, right? The last one you're saying consolidating. I think this is just human. We're not like YS, right? That he can do so many things, he doesn't sleep. Like the problem here is we only have like bloody 24 hours and we are like kind of getting aged, right? We can only work that many hours a day. So no choice. We can only do that much. I would agree to that. But okay, now let's take a look at these questions over here that we have from the audience. Okay, so before we go into the 2021 predictions, guys, remember,
2022.
the 2022. Yeah. So what YS predicted for 2021 when he was in 2020 was these 5 things. The first one is the multi-directional SEO. Second one is the authentic video content, and the third one is the web push notification, which kind of like in a way I think it's quite interesting because
It's been around for quite some time, isn't it? Web push.
I always say no one. Who will say yes?
Yeah, nobody does.
I don't know about you guys. I always say no, bloody hell.
Yeah.
So the third one was the multi-direction. I mean the web push, and the fourth one was social commerce, which I think it does take off. It does take off.
More Instagram shops also. More Instagram
correct.
shops.
Instagram shops. Are you guys aware of this WhatsApp shop?
Heard about it.
But I
WhatsApp
haven't
catalog.
seen it.
Bloody hell! The other day I just tried it, right? Because one of the restaurant that I go, they just use that. Smooth, man.
Oh, is it?
It's damn smooth. You guys have to do that if you are doing something like you can allow people to order, because that's what they do. You can add to cart, you can do all that, and then eventually once you add it to cart, right, you can just send and they will receive yours as an order. If they set it up through WhatsApp, all the things, whatever they order, how many items for each and all that, right? Bloody smooth. So I would say
it's like
this
an
is
AI
really,
bot, right? Like you're talking to the bot.
it's not even a bot, like it's just a catalog being programmed within the WhatsApp environment.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
So you can just put your product in, people can add to cart and all that. Because I was ordering food. Oh, I tell you, smooth. All this can be done like, you don't even need the whatever third-party software anymore, seriously. For those who actually invested in like whatever ordering system, you want to look into this thing when WhatsApp is really coming up. It's at the moment, I'm not sure whether about future is free still. And the fifth one, I would totally agree that the consolidation of the channel. Right, that's definitely
That's
agree.
too
But
much.
guys,
That's just too much to manage.
we can't handle, and the moment you get too fragmented, eventually you can't focus, right? Yeah. So, but guys, if you have any questions, remember, this is where we can actually, like grill YS a little bit. Remember, this is the guy who has his hands on that both an MNC and SME segment. He actually has a lot of insights that we can tap on. So remember, any questions at all, type in the comment section, and I'm going to bring that up, and we're going to really learn so much from our guest today, YS. Before that, we have our first question. This is a bit not related, it was about the question that we discussed at the very beginning. But Richard is also running his agency. But then again, his question is very interesting. How SME can win MNC?
In terms of what?
Is it really a fight over there? But what is your take, YS?
Yeah.
I think SME do has many benefits over MNC. If you see the way that as how SME is structured, as explained earlier, right? When I pitch to SME, business owner or the one who makes the decision, they can make the decision straight away. Say, take the check, it's right here. Go, test and learn, start the campaign and see what happens. Yeah. So SME do have benefit in the space whereby you are very agile, you are very fast. MNC do has their protocols and structure that whereby they need to go through, and to launch a campaign, they might take a little bit more time than as a SME. So I think how SME can win an MNC, one of the benefit you can play on is the agility.
Yes, I agree. The agility. Because
MNC has a committee of many, whereas SME is committee of one, the big boss.
It's either one or two lah. You can actually just
Maximum
discuss it over whatever lah. So it's all done. I think it's very true. I think it's very true.
Speed is one thing.
Yeah. Speed to market and any change that is needed to be done. Agreed. Thank you so much for answering. And thanks for the question, Richard. And we have a question from Crystal. Crystal would like to know more about the video content side. So I think Crystal is Manfred's friend. So would you mind to elaborate a little bit on this one, YS, or probably you can give us some examples or case studies or any channels that we can refer to, kind of stuff, to help Crystal a bit on. Thank you. Please.
So this is one of the trend that I recycle for 2022 because it's really huge and upcoming. I see that it will even grow much more. So in 2021, so when I predicted for 2021, it's about authentic, it's about trustworthy self-produced content video, right? But in terms of 2022, the trend has pivoted a little, still very much focused on sometimes producing our own video, but there are tools like AI-powered tools like Lumen 5. So when I teach in my class, I always love to share these two, and my students just go, wow, there's such a tool. So essentially what it does is it's a free tool, so just check it out. Lumen 5, Lumen 5. It's somewhat like a Canva, so Canva, but for video. You just need to type in the scripts of whichever content you have, and it will automatically generate for you the whole video footage. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I saw it before. Yeah, but didn't really spend time to playing with the thing.
I heard about it.
Yeah. It's completely free of charge, and it's quite amazing, I would say, the results. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So you're already immediately jumping into your first prediction. Let's discuss on this. Since Crystal brought up this question and you brought it up as your recycle prediction for next year. So you were saying that 2021 was more towards the authenticity of the content, and 2022 is more towards AI-powered content.
Yeah. So using tools that we can self-serve, it's no longer So pretty much back in those days, right, we are very heavily dependent on video production crew. These days we still do, but in times when times are trying, right, sometimes we are self-serve. So tools like this enable us to essentially create our own video out of a fly. Okay, when we do SEO content, we write out the whole content article. What we basically need to do in terms of acting on this trend, right? So video marketing, right, is take our content, okay, the entire content article, put into the tool, and it will flip into a video for us. Okay, with the footage images, with the relevant corresponding images, video, and so on. Yeah.
Right.
I think nowadays a lot of AI tool, really a lot. And someone is free for the initial part.
Correct. I think to better help listening to digest these entire trends that I'm sharing for digital marketing 2022, I think I will introduce 3 frameworks. So identify, sense, and act. So when we identify video marketing, what are the drivers that's driving this trend, right? First of all, why did video got so huge in now, but not a few years before it's really 5. If you look at 5G, if you look at our network infrastructure, if you look at our mobile devices, all these are enablers leading up to video content. Okay. If 10 years ago we do consume video content on mobile phone, right, that would cost us a bomb and it takes a huge time to load. These days, YouTube is the world's second largest search engine of the world. And platforms like Lumen 5 that I just shared, these are tools whereby we can tap on to create a video on the fly. Okay. And in terms of acting on such trends, I would say the first few seconds of your video is very important. There are a lot of statistics done, but basically the first 3 seconds, if you fail to capture the audience within the first 3 seconds, what happens here when you guys are using Facebook, right? We tend to do the constant scrolling action, right? So for the first 3 seconds, if you didn't catch the attention of the user, basically they will just scroll off.
Okay. I mean, that I totally agree. The 3 second thing is definitely the most important thing that we have to capture. In fact, yeah. But then again, if you're talking about AI generated content, right? Do you think Lumen 5 does well in terms of helping us to capture the first 3 second kind of like eyeball and segment? Or do you think human factor is still a better option to capture people's attention over here?
I would say we have to test both, but I think what is important these days is we need to lay over text and captions
Yeah, true.
at the start, especially at the start, right? You see, this is very common. If you see Facebook ads, right, they usually like to start off with a question to pipe the interest, to capture the attention, to hook the audience, yeah, to engage further. Yeah,
That's very
I think
true.
one of the other thing that we can add on this trend is for business owner, for other marketers out there, right? There's this strategy we call follow the unicorn. Okay, some of you might know about that. So basically, follow the unicorn is a very nice phrase, but in social media content or video marketing, basically means look at your competitors. What have they done in terms of the content? Follow their unicorn posts. The posts with the most share, likes, comments are the posts that will also do well if you to replicate and produce them. Because what has worked with your competitors' targeted audience will likely work for your audience also. So
That is
follow the unicorn
agreeable.
strategy.
That is agreeable. That is agreeable. But when it comes to this kind of behavioral trend, right? Because like you're saying that the content type, this is very much, in my opinion, these are behavioral so-called trend. Usually since you also manage content for your client, I believe so. Do you? Or you're only on the media buy side?
More on the media side, yeah.
Media
More
side
on
lah.
the
But
media
you do have insights about content. So when it comes to this kind of behavioral so-called trend, how long does it usually last? For this kind of, let's say for example, this kind of content will work well maybe for like 3 months. Usually the trend fades away. Like now, last year, we're still in this year. Like this year, we see a lot of like the bloody so-called TikTok-ish type of content because TikTok conquered Reel. So, kind of like, I mean, it's not to say TikTok conquered Reel. TikTok content conquered Reel content on Instagram because they
Also,
are just
YouTube Shorts.
yeah, they are just repurposing and Shorts is really coming up, right? But then again, people get tired of this already because these kind of content are usually just hype and it doesn't really, in my opinion, to a certain extent, you may get a lot of people viewing and kind of like whatever, but in terms of transactional, as in like helping to get any transactional benefit for the brand, it may not be that impactful and people get tired of it very easily. So when it comes to
Correct.
content, right, when we are trying to spot the unicorn, how soon or how frequent should we come back and relook into the current situation or reassess whatever trend that we are having?
So I think the approach to content, there's two prongs. One is called the evergreen content. You should always produce content that's evergreen, meaning to say this content, even if 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, is still relevant. So for instance, like what is video marketing? If you read it today, 2 years, 3 years, if you read it again, this content more or less should be similar. There is another stream of content. The second one, we call it news jacking. So tapping on the current trends, tapping on the current hot topic to produce. This content will pick up a sudden hype, so you're able to catch the wave, but it will fall off. But your evergreen content will constantly be bringing you traffic and engagement.
I agree. Yep. Okay. Now we get you. Now I totally get the whole idea of the video so-called marketing trend for 2022. So to sum it up, before we go to the next one, right? You're saying that the video is going to be even bigger than 2021 in 2022?
Yes.
Okay. Which means are we possibly seeing even like a downtrend of because when it comes to content, right? Video, audio, and text. text is definitely in a way in a decline because, in my opinion, I mean, people's behavior has changed. But what will be the weightage coming up in 2021, 2022?
I think I I will interpret it differently. Back then, if you create content, right, it's more heavy on text based. This day, when we create a content, we can readapt it across. So another quick tip about video marketing is sometimes you can do a session like this whereby you can clip still bits and pieces of clips and content and repurpose them into multiple formats. So instead of just one text nowadays, we can repurpose them into multiple formats, images, infographic, audio, and so on.
Okay. But your take about video getting bigger in 2022, is it because of the availability of tools now that normal Joe like us can actually produce our own videos? Is it because of the tools?
I think it's
Availability of the tools?
more because of the demand side. So demand side is in consumer wanting to engage with content, more interactive content. So the ability of 5G and better network infrastructure that's enabling this trend. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still a behavioral kind of like shift. So humans are less patient in a way in terms of reading. We're not like Manfred that reads them a lot, right? So
No
we
lah.
prefer to consume
Nowadays,
content.
it's an instant noodle era or instant gratification.
But I also believe this is also related to the ability of search engine in terms of transcripting and picking up the content in the video, right? I mean, this is part of it. That's
Especially
why
for
they are
TikTok,
able to rank better.
Yeah, especially on TikTok, they know what you consume, then they keep giving you the right stuff, and the hours becomes day become weeks, weeks become month.
Isn't what social media does nowadays?
Yeah, it really takes up a lot of time, and,
there you go.
Can be quite toxic, to be honest,
I have no experience in that. We only have one TikTok expert in consuming content. That I don't know which one to point anyway.
The purple guy.
We haven't even touched on the topic on trolling, when people attack you.
Yeah.
When you just make a comment, Because
I don't care. Next year, Manfred, we're gonna do a session with you on TikTok already.
Okay, but it's not about TikTok. But one thing, a lot of communication out there saying that this social media is, especially the influencers, are quite fake. Say, example, 5 o'clock wake up, 6 o'clock do yoga, 7 o'clock do this, do that, 8 o'clock. Then they only do for that day, but everybody believes that she do it for every day. They present the perfect side, the perfect lifestyle, which is not really achievable, to be honest.
I always don't believe in this kind of thing, but I don't know about, But then again, I think Manfred brought up a very interesting topic, YS. We'd like to check with you. So now you say that the video is big. It's going to be even bigger in 2022. Okay. What kind of content? Now, let's not get very general. Do you think YouTube is going to get bigger or TikTok is going to get bigger? What kind of content? Or is it going to be like the shorts kind of thing? Because YouTube also have shorts coming up right now.
Good question, Jason.
Yeah.
I think in general, both. So long form and short form content will do well. So if you look at TikTok, right, the type of audience who usually who are on board them right now tends to be the younger audience. But if you look at YouTube, right, they serve both spectrum, the entire spectrum, from your toddlers to your infants, right? Sometimes when parents might be too busy, then put
YouTube kids. Yes.
YouTube kids, and then we
You're
have
right.
our elderly, the retirees. Sometimes they will also be engaging YouTube on the classics. So both short form and long form content will go well. But in terms of the kind of content that goes into each platform, then that might differ. TikTok itself needs to be more engaging, shorter form. YouTube, we can be of a longer form.
But can I safely, I'm not sure, because I totally agree with the trend, but I'm just trying to help the audience kind of like zoom into their strategy. Let's say when it comes to businesses, right? For businesses, because you're also saying that one part of it is because of the SEO, video SEO, the content SEO is going to help the business and all that. Do you think for business to really reap the benefit of the video trend, we should focus more on YouTube instead of TikTok? Because YouTube seems to be more search friendly and they, like you mentioned, they serve almost all spectrum or all segments of the market.
Yep.
Instead of like TikTok, we only serve the generation TikTok like Manfred, right? So like, yeah. So what would be the viable strategy that you would suggest on this part for businesses?
I think it really depends because it looks at you have to look at the businesses. What is their intent? Are they trying to reach out to a younger or building brand awareness with a younger consumer? Then probably TikTok is their priority. But if you're thinking on doing things like product education, product awareness, product demo, then a longer form video on YouTube that is more searchable might be more ideal. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much. I totally agree to that. Thank you for the insights. And I think from our discussion on the first trend that YS shared with us for 2022, I hope you guys get a better picture right now. I mean, the purpose of today's really lesson, or so-called sharing, we want to help you guys get more insights from YS on how can we know the trend. Like now we know that whatever, like everybody can
Ride the
predict
wave,
trend.
man. Ride the wave.
We want to help you ride the wave. I think I like that. So thank you so much for the sharing on this one, YS. Yes, Manfred, you raise your hand.
Just want to mention one thing. This year trend, some of the insurance agency or even the real estate agency, their leader actually appeared in those Instagram or TikTok videos. They're trying to impart a principle, a value. Let's say, example, we should be honest to our customer. So they do it in multiple episodes.
Okay.
And trying to impart that this is my unique value proposition to impart to the audience. It serves a purpose to recruit new people to join them. It also serves a purpose for the audience. I'm more trustworthy. You should buy from me. So there are people doing that. At first I watched, I was thinking, what the hell are they trying to sell? I'm thinking, I watch. Oh. So you understand things you can use short form video to do, how should I say this? This is a long-term goal. Because things like this is not so easy. Say, my house is cheap. My house is at this location. You should buy from me. They do a hook to actually capture the audience heart. Just want to share with you all.
Thank you, Manfred.
Do you have any data as to is video content close to saturation point? Because once you have everybody who is anybody going on video, then you're going to see pretty much the same content, especially when you talk about follow the what you call it, the unicorn and everybody copy. Because Ogilvy has a report once about Instagram posts, and they were showing, do a study on all the influencers, and almost all the influencers, especially the big ones, has the same kind of posts and the same kind of content, same kind of pictures and all those things. And there's a situation of sameness across.
I think right now I don't have data whether it will be going towards saturation or how many percent of this. But from what I have observed for the past few years, I wish that advertisers can produce more video content, be it for ads or be it for organic content. Why do I say that? Because so 4 years ago I actually did a test. I run A/B testing, video ad versus static image ad, right, on Facebook. So the video ad actually outperformed 4 times in terms of engagement. Okay, 4 times better, and it's also at the cheaper CPM, better interactivity. Till today, right, there are many statistics still pointing to the same direction. Across the ads that I'm seeing nowadays, there are still quite a number of advertisers that's more, I would say, doing static image ad because in a nutshell, it's cheaper, it's less man-hour than to produce a video content. So tools like Lumen 5 and authentic video, right, can help in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. But I think to add on to that, if I may, YS and Andrew, I think the saturation is, in terms of video saturation, I think it's a lot harder to, in my opinion, it's not that easy to happen. Why? Because to be frank, right, video is harder to be produced than a lot of other content. And if you come in, just a very simple example, you come in and do Facebook ads video, even you do the same topic, you use the same script, say the same exact thing as what I do, probably people will still preference whether they like Jason or you.
Okay.
I mean, when it comes to people kind of thing, if you use human as part of it, you know, like I can learn, I can follow a lot of so-called Instagram gurus, but I would definitely favor some of them. I mean, when it comes to video, like, you know, maybe just because of the voice, you like the voice, you listen or whatnot, right? I think,
Okay.
and not everybody are comfortable with video.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it's a
we'll
lot
see.
harder.
I think when we look at when we revisit this by December 2022, and especially once we see a lot of duplicate or replica of Lumen 5 videos, then we know lah.
Yeah, I think then that you brought up a very good point. I think Lumen 5 is the tool, but we have to mix a balance.
Yeah.
I think you can't be all Lumen 5 all the way. Then if you do Lumen 5 all the way, then you lose the authenticity.
Yeah.
Remember, you know, YS prediction for 2021 was authenticity. It was so true. You know, and next year, because of the tools, doesn't mean that you want to lose your authenticity. Okay. Correct, YS? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
let's quickly go through some of the comments. But thanks for the question, Andrew. Now, Krista was saying evergreen topic. I think YS mentioned just now, evergreen topic means something that, you know, love relationship, definitely evergreen. Just like some people will say that what? Why? I don't know what kind of love question.
Generally, there's three big three only. What? Relationship, marriage,
Money.
relationship, money, and health.
So if we do this, no, I think what YS means is the kind of topic that even 2 years down the road, it was still relevant. The example that he used is what is video marketing. So I think that's that. Okay, Crystal?
Content, yeah.
That kind of content that will last for long term, even like maybe 2-3 years down the road. So repurposing, I think Manfred actually shared in the comment. Repurposing means kind of like, you know, one piece of content that you generated, you can actually recreate it into a different format. Like you can actually turn it into a YouTube, and you can turn it into multiple YouTube videos or even TikTok videos and all that. You know, that's kind of repurposing for different platform. Yep. Okay, hopefully we answer. And Siwa was saying you're addicted to Douyin.
What's that?
Douyin is a TikTok
Chinese
in China.
version of TikTok, isn't it?
Yeah,
in China.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's different.
Yeah. So and Manfred was actually helping all that lah. And Siwa was saying evergreen is cats. It's quite true. But then again, you know, yeah. Anyway, so that's the first trend that you predicted, YS. What will be the next one?
More than half an hour ago.
That's why I told you.
Video is a big one. Video is a big one.
Video is a big one.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
Which actually we've been well to the second trend. My second trend prediction is community of micro influencers. So earlier on, we were talking about the voice of the video, whether the audience resonate with it is also can be quite varied and subjective, right? So if you look at what is driving this community of micro influencers is whereby we today, the way that we interact with internet is pretty much driven on micro moments. So it's defined by Google. Micro moments basically means when we have short spurts of time, you know, waiting for our food or waiting for our ride, we take out our mobile phone and we start interact with social media or with content. So those are called micro moments. And in these micro moments, when we are connected, we have a voice. We will sometimes we share, or we listen, or we engage with the social media, or the wider audience. What it means in terms of content consumption, not all kind of voice will stick well with every individual. So if you look at Alibaba, right, their goal of community of creation, right, is to really build an army of influencers. Why do I say army? If we look at their goal, they are looking to build up 1 million influencer by 2023. Okay, to drive towards the goal of e-commerce, international e-commerce for Alibaba. So in terms of creating of content, if you were to do it alone or as a company, you tend to see that you are pretty much, you have a brand voice to follow. But if you start tapping on your influencers, your community, this is whereby they can narrate differently, different point of view, different perspective, diverse enough, yet engaging for everyone. Okay, so that is whereby sensing, so micro moments, connected, voice, and so on. How can we act on this trend for business owner or digital marketer? Start a trend, I would say. Start a trend in the sense of start a challenge. TikTok is very famous for that. So starting a challenge whereby the community can jump on, can leash on, then help you virally create other content Okay, so you basically need to build a framework around it. How can you ideate what are some of the challenges? So one of the example I will give is a fidget spinner. So fidget spinner, right? How did it took off so like a wildfire back then is the fidget spinner has been a while, but how did it caught wildfire is because the sellers, right, basically start getting communities to get involved and start having competition. The many ways that you can use a fidget spinner, whoever who does it better gets like a reward and so on. So from there on, the community grow and more viewability and more eyeballs on it. That's why the whole fidget spinner got caught like wildfire.
I
This
think
is virality, really, no.
yeah, this
Virality,
is
yeah.
like, but I think YS got a point. Let me help me. I want to try to understand whether I get your point correctly. You're saying that the next trend that you predict for 2022 is, the so-called
The rise
brands,
of the micro influencer.
yeah, the rise of the micro influencer, as in like
Oh, so drama today, well.
yeah, then
So
it's like
drama, man.
So
probably we can
the
come up with
size of the followers is roughly how much, right? When you say micro influencers, roughly less than 1,000 followers.
I think the way I interpret that is it's not just he's not really referring to influencers. I think what
No.
YS was referring to is
You
a
and
brand
me,
must be able to drive common people,
yes.
Community.
the community, to drive common people like you and I towards to help the brand amplify whatever message that they want to message by driving the community by using competitions or any like movement types of content. Okay.
Is that the case?
Correct.
Is
This
that
one is absolutely correct. Yeah, if
Oh,
you look
wow.
at the Chinese space, right, they are ahead on this. So all of us may have heard across KOL, key opinions leaders in China. So these are your celebrity influencers. But a few years ago, they already termed another term called KOC, key opinion consumers.
Yep.
So these are consumers whereby we term them quite loosely sometimes micro influencers, whereby together when they share and they are enough to create a voice across the community to get heard and influence the product direction, brand direction, and also thereby driving sales forward. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, that's already starting. I mean, it's already happening, but just that it hasn't become a very kind of like strong trend. The micro influencer. So I think I like that. Yes, Manfred.
Yeah, just want to check one thing, a bit just side topic. So if we want to look into the future, should we always look at China?
That's a
Because
very good
China is
question.
always a glimpse to the future, right? What they are doing, sooner or later, will spread to the rest of the world. Am I right to say that?
I
Because
think
live selling in Singapore still didn't really take off. No? It is crazy in China. But for some reason, I guess, because we don't have the Kohonga, we don't have the KOL, the foundation, hence, you cannot take. I don't think Malaysia also take off, right? The live selling.
Not really.
There is a bit like here and there, but it's not crazy, It's not the same. So I was thinking, what happened last time is whatever happened in US, sooner or later will be the rest of the world. But now is if you want to have a glimpse into the future, look at China. Am I right to say that? Okay, yes.
I think it's not whether you're right. I think whether he agree or not lah.
Will you agree with me?
Yeah,
Will
don't
you
need
agree
to.
with me?
Yeah, no. Yeah, just say whether you agree or not. Am I right?
I think if you look at the categories, I will definitely agree for e-commerce, for the mobile wallet space, they are way ahead. They are definitely a country we should look at in terms of the trends. Yeah.
Okay. I think this one is very interesting because I only have one question. Is competition still a viable thing to do on social media? Because one of the so-called element or so-called action or ways that you mentioned just now to drive the engagement from the community is the competition. Whether you get them to post something, hashtagging something like that, right? I'm just not sure whether this is still a trend, but I have not been in the competition scene for a while. As in, I'm not really driving campaign for clients. That's why I can't say for sure. But what do you think?
Yes. So it's still very much, especially if you are a new brand, you are starting out, right? So two ways you can really gain a fast following. Number one, buy your followers in the meaning of doing ads. The second way, to run competition. Because when you run competition, you get people to tag, like, share, comments. This is whereby the algorithm of the social media channel platform favors you, and you get push up in terms of the user get quite a number of quality likes, I would say, because these are friends who are tagging their friends. So you gain quite a big of good exposure, I would say. Yeah.
Good.
You
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
adjust a strategy that matches what the algorithm needs. The algorithm needs certain volumes, hence you provide it and your thing goes up.
Yeah.
More visible.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, I think to add on to that, right, if I may, is I would say, let's summarize this key point. This is the second trend that YS predicted for 2022, which is the rise of the micro influencers. Just to term it in a more so-called specific term, which is we call them the key opinion consumers. Which is you must be able to drive your existing customers or consumers to help you gain more voice or so-called influences among their community. So one of the things that like YS mentioned that you can consider doing is competition, because he actually puts it in a very so-called strategic way, where because the competition is going to help you trigger the algorithm, especially if you're a new brand, where the social media, the so-called the platform, will kind of like surface you more to the people that they believe will like your content or react to your content or engage with your content. Is that correct, Wes? Cool. So guys, yes.
YS, can I check with you? So for the key opinion consumer, is there a minimum number and a maximum number in order the whole thing to work? Say example, you need at least 100 KOC and the upside is maybe 10,000 KOC. Is there a number, a range that we can refer to?
As in the KLC followers or
KLC, the number of KLC for
needed
KLC needed in order the whole thing will hype up.
You mean to build the
momentum?
momentum?
Yes. The minimum number and the maximum number. Is there a range that we can check, or is it still in the process of this thing is still very new?
I think, to be frank, we can't really pinpoint a figure towards the algorithm, how much they need. But what it seems to work is within the first few days, once you post the content, right, once you get a lot of variability, it tends to favor you more. Yeah.
Any specific?
Maybe I can just add, like if, like YS has mentioned, when video content and production of video content is made easy with tools and people are more comfortable picking up the phone and then record, what it does is now the consumer, the average Joe, has a voice. So if they come across a video of, they come across, let's say, Jason's training and says, hey, I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to tell anybody who bothers and record it and says, hey, I went through Jason's training, I like his training and he's so cool and all those stuff. And every single one of them has this ability to do it already. So the micro influencer does not need to have 1 million or 500,000, because all you need is a couple of guys who happen to hit the right one and it gets forwarded and there you go. Because it's so easy to produce content on video now.
I think it's true. Yeah. Well, I think it's a good thing, because eventually when we have more KOCs, in fact, the brands will be kind of like being supervised by the market itself, because if they really screw up, right, and these KOC are usually kind of like, it's always the same thing, they will backfire. Correct. So moving forward is really like, the only way to thrive is to build remarkable products and remarkable company, right? It's all about what Seth says. Thanks for that second key point, YS. I think that's a very good one. What would be the third one? Time is ticking. I never expect this to, but really exciting, really interesting discussion. I like the discussion. Yeah, what would be the third one?
So the third trend is recycle also. It's social commerce actually. So why am I bringing back the trend? This trend will stay for years to come. In fact, if you look at how do I sense that why is this part of a trend that's coming? If you look at the data points again, currently 40% of the world population is not on the internet yet. Okay. Yet there are so many commerce transactions happening right now already. What if the remaining 40% comes from the internet and start buying? The entire commerce space, the entire social space will just grow, will just bloom better. And if you look at the traditionally, there are a lot of people who are unbanked. These days, we have platforms like buy now, pay later, mobile wallets, and also finance inclusivity. So all these, right, in the sense that help with in transaction to happen more. I think social media traditionally they play the role of connecting with friends, product discovery, but if you look at how can they further monetize, right, is really going to the commerce space. Commerce space today, the one that is leading pretty much the facilitator, the marketplace. But if the ads platforms, the Facebook or Google, Facebook, Instagrams alike, right, TikTok alike, right, they want to be part of this commerce space. They are coming out with a lot of new features. So Facebook Shop, Instagram Shop, sorry, and also WhatsApp Shop. So they are coming out with all these features because they know that there's this much they can grow in terms of advertising. But if they come into commerce, it's a huge new ball game, and especially with the 40% coming on board into the internet, there's a lot of opportunity.
I think that's a very interesting one. I think social commerce is going to evolve a lot more significantly in 2022 because with all the features.
Yeah. Would marketplace be worried? Should marketplace be worried about it if Facebook Shop, Instagram Shop basically take over? You bypass, you don't have to go to the marketplaces to buy. It's on your phone. It's on your app.
That's an interesting question. What do you think, Wes?
I really think that it depends on how fast the marketplace or the Facebook platform or the ads platforms like social platforms like grows their features. Okay, each side of the platforms already have a audience base already. It's really more of which one is more convenient, which one can offer a better price point, which one is more seamless. Yeah.
Okay.
That's very true. That's very true. And
Good
I think
point.
on top of that, sorry, please go on, Wes.
Yeah. And on this note, right, is whereby how can we act, right, as a business owner and digital marketer? Shoppable content. Are you creating content that is shoppable? Are your Instagram posts integrated with click, and then you can actually buy in the Instagram itself? To have you start toying with features like the Facebook Marketplace entirely free of charge, right, for you to gain more visibility. So Facebook Commerce Manager is another one. Once you enable your Commerce Manager, there are different ads types that you can use on Facebook. That's very suitable for e-commerce.
Interesting.
That's very true. In fact, Commerce Manager is really growing in terms of their features set. And now we can see that, WhatsApp is already coming in as one of a very important place, because you may not be on Facebook or Instagram, but you are most probably on WhatsApp in one way or another. So when they really connect these three things together, because I think it's really something that's going to happen in the social commerce side of it. But just to look at your questions, Andrew, I think the marketplaces like Shopee and Lazada, they're actually driving the social commerce as well. Because one thing with Manfred was saying about the live selling, right? Live selling is really doing so well on Shopee. And
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just talked to one of my students the other day. They said they are committed to go live at least 3 times on Shopee every week.
Oh my. Wow.
Okay. And Shopee can really drive them crazy kind of like sales.
Traffic. Yeah.
You're talking about when they commit, because it's controlled by the social media, by the platform, they are able to really drive people to you in a very meaningful way. He says, you know what, to a certain extent, right? If you keep doing it and they really do for you, every time they go live, they can spike in even tens of thousands of viewers, up to 6 digits.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
So if you talk about live selling, Manfred mentioned that, right? Live selling may not be happening on Facebook or Instagram as we see it.
It's on Marketplace.
It's on Marketplace. Go monitor Marketplace, follow those brands whenever they go live, right? Really go in and see how they go live. One tap buying, my friend. One tap buy. It's really how things work.
Oh, okay. Maybe, okay. That's I've not looked at that.
So that's kind of like how I observe that. So Marketplace will still be
They'll still have a place to play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they will still have the
based
place
on what
to-
you say, yes. They will
because
also
if you observe, right, if you observe correctly, right, Facebook and Instagram, Facebook especially in general, they have tried so many times to really capitalize on the social commerce, but they never really get really meaningful success in that. But it's just the trend is coming. Agree or not, YS? Like many years back, they started shop, right, and whatnot, and this all that, right? People just kind of like,
Okay, lor.
it's okay, lor. It doesn't really take off in a very meaningful way. But
Well, who knows?
current
Maybe Facebook
mix might be different.
may buy one of these marketplaces one day.
Yeah. You should go in and take a look. It's very interesting.
May acquire one of these marketplaces one day.
They entrench
maybe.
themselves. They get a lot of those buy now, pay later
Yes.
vendors who come in a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they make it so frictionless for you to buy.
Correct.
The people
Correct.
don't
Now
think
you-
of just buy.
You just keep buying only, and all of a sudden, like you bought so many things already, it's like without realizing.
Good point.
You know what?
Good point.
Yeah, all this is happening. So Shopee has their own buy now, pay later, and Grab and all these are coming in place. I think it's gonna be very interesting. But I like the point so much. I think social
All
commerce
right.
is totally agreeable. Whereas the fourth one, we are 5 minutes down. We're gonna delay anyway. We're gonna like kind of
We're
like
gonna stretch
you
it a
know,
bit.
stretch
Yeah.
a little bit today anyway. But
There's
good
some
discussion,
questions
right?
on the comments on the
you
audience.
want to go to the question now, or you want to do it later after we wrap? the
Okay,
few
let's
key
let's
points?
wrap up with YS
Yeah.
first.
I want the
Okay.
remaining 2 points over here,
Yeah,
please.
let's get it out, man. Let's get it out.
So the point 4 and point 5 is somewhat interlinked. So point number 4 is AI automation in marketing. So point number 5 is data-driven attribution. So first of all, AI automation in marketing. So artificial intelligence automation in marketing. A few years ago, pretty still a hype, but this day is really something that's given already in the different ads platform. So AI has been adopted and implemented in things like Google Ads. So you can see automated bidding strategies. In Facebook, you can see features like campaign budget optimization, CPO, and so on. Some of the marketers will swear by it. Some of the marketers will actually love and hate it. So depending on your use case, right? But I think where the business owners and digital marketers can start doing is you can really test some of these features. Some of these features might work for you. Some of these features might not work for you. Why it might work? Because it really depends on the context, right? So example will be the Facebook CBO feature, campaign budget optimization. Without going into too much technicality, basically if you have different audience type, you have India, Singapore, Malaysia, 3 different audience type, and you want to find out which kind of audience actually drive you the best kind of ROI instead of setting the amount and trying to figure out, right, switching on this CPO feature in Facebook will actually automatically help you find, okay, on that particular day itself, which audience should you go after? How do you calculate the budget? You don't even need to think about that. The platform itself will help you with that. You just say, Facebook, this is the amount, help me find the best audience for the day and achieve for me the business objective. If you were to do that 5 to 10 years ago, we literally have to go into every line item and start changing, monitoring things on a minute or hourly or daily basis. So start using some of these tools. Not all will work well. It really depends on context, but at least get familiar and start making use of them.
Good point.
That I agree. In fact, another angle to look at this is, because some of you guys probably are saying that your so-called detailed targeting expansion is now being default checked. So that's part of a kind of like the activities that Facebook is doing to really allow the AI, whatever automation at the back end to really learn better or to help you grow your so-called campaign better. So yeah, I think another thing that I always advocate, I'm not sure whether YS you agree or not, you should start looking at the evergreen campaign as in like a longer term campaign instead of keep changing, refreshing a new creative or so-called change your ad campaign and whatnot, touching it every week or every other day. Instead, we should allow the campaign to brew longer, to learn longer. So what I realized is the longer it stays, as long as everything is set up properly, and when it kicks into a certain momentum, it will always get better and better over time. Because the AI learning is always at the back end. So that's one thing that I would actually kind of advocate. But yeah, definitely agree with the AI automation. So I'm not sure about Google, but Facebook side, yes, I agree. But okay, then anything else you guys want to ask on the point number 4? Agree anonymously, right? It's kind of like
we see
100%.
that happening already.
Definitely, I totally agree. So Data-driven.
Point number
attribution.
5. Yes.
Yeah, point number 5.
Attribution.
Data-driven explanation. So let me just quickly explain data-driven attribution. So for instance, as a consumer, right, we see ads. Sometimes we see on Facebook, sometimes we see on the Google search ad itself. Then maybe we come across on TikTok itself. We interact with different ads, all from the same advertiser, but we choose to convert, right? Traditionally, Google ads themselves favor last click. So basically, the last ad that user click on gets all the credits for bringing that sales, bringing that users.
Last touch.
Last touch, correct. So moving forward, right, data kind of ability to sense data, ability to attribute the kind of credits get more and more better. There are better platforms, there are better attribution method out there. So Google last 2 months has actually, Google Ads itself, search ads has moved towards data driven. So basically what it means is the ad that the user interacted the most time versus the other ads, that particular ad, despite not being the last touch, should get the most credits. Okay, so I think where the future is moving ahead is really we are spending a lot of different ads or time and so on as a marketer, as a business owner across all the different platforms. But which one brings us the best kind of ROI? We look at how do we attribute our data better, attribute those ads better through data-driven attribution. Okay,
I like that.
So,
yeah, please go on.
So what it means to business owner and digital marketer, how should you implement this? If you have not implemented conversion tagging or pixel installation or Google Analytics on your website or on your ads right now or on your conversion partner right now, please do so. I know that it may be somewhat of a challenge for non-technical folks or someone who does not have that background, right? So my approach to SMA is if you are spending too much about time on that kind of issue, outsource it. Yeah, the time you spend brooding about such issue, right, might be more well spent if you just hire someone as external or platforms like Fiverr, right? They are great resource. So get someone to help you with that.
I think this one is a bit kind of like what do we call? It's a bit deep for those so-called like if you are slightly newer to digital marketing, because attribution is one of the biggest challenge. Okay, how do we track whether which ad will get the credit? But YS is right. Most of the time it's always the last touch that gets most of the credit and all that. But this is really something that Facebook has been trying to do. They had actually introduced this cross-platform tracking, kind of like the omni-channel tracking kind of like tool, which they retired a while ago. Okay,
GA4 also allows that now.
GA4 allows that, but but I totally agree that moving forward as a digital marketer, we should follow the trend and try to really attribute, because that gives us a different set of insights that we can take advantage on to really plan our marketing. But if you guys are totally new to this thing, I think the best advice you can get away from YS is bloody install your GA, your Pixel,
Start to
and
do
get
all
your
the UTM.
get your UTM, get your Google conversion API set up and everything. I totally agree to that. If it's too hassle, it's too much work, outsource it. But get it fixed up, guys. Moving forward, this is so important. So
I think normally outsource for this sort of thing is just one time. Get somebody to set it up for you. You should do it. And I also see that there's a growth or basically an emergence of a lot of third-party tools that tracks attribution. So because if you rely on GA itself, it's still Google-centric, Facebook-centric. There are now third-party tools that actually merges all these things and basically churn out the data or digest the data to let you know what are the platforms or what are the ones that actually attributes to the sale or to the whatever conversion objectives that you want.
Yeah, but I get too excited about the discussion. I forgot to do this. Guys, if you guys want to connect with YS, oh my god,
yeah, man,
blame me. It's kind of like, oh my god, I have not done this along the way. But guys, if you guys want to connect with YS, I will make sure I tag this on the video itself and everywhere else. Right? If you guys want to connect with YS, this is the link that you can connect with him on his LinkedIn profile. If you need more, his help, I believe you can engage him, as you know that he's running an agency. And if you want to learn from him, then definitely he teaches over the weekend on all the so-called the platforms that he mentioned just now. This guy don't sleep anyway, so you can email him at midnight. So that's the link that you can email him. So that's how you guys can connect with him. But thank you so much for all these things, right? Seriously, let's round up a little bit about the five trends that you predicted. The first one is video is going to get bigger.
Yes,
Because of the
2022.
AI-powered tools and all that, right? Because of the tools like Lumen 5 and all that. So video is going to get bigger. And the second one is, where was my note on the second one?
Community
Social
of
commerce.
micro-influencer.
Yes, the
Right,
community of
the race
micro-influencers.
influencers.
Okay, the micro-influencers. And the third one, meaning that micro-influencers means you must be able to drive your community to really kind of like advocate for you, kind of like really to
Turn your customers into
turn your
advocates.
customers into influencers. And the fourth one is, the third one. Where's my note? Actually, I got distracted a little bit just now. The third one was
Social commerce.
social commerce getting
social
bigger.
commerce. Yes.
Social commerce
Correct.
getting bigger, which like Andrew brought up a very good discussion whether the marketplace is gonna be threatened. Well, I would
Apparently
say,
looks like not a
in
good
fact,
case.
marketplaces are turning themselves into social networks.
Yes.
If you look at the
Looks
way,
like it that way. Yeah,
it
looks like the other way
the
around.
way
huh?
they're doing it. Yeah.
Agreed.
It's seriously very powerful. If you look at like live going in, right? Almost all the
Yeah.
time there will be some live going on the platform.
Yeah.
And if you look at the viewership, right, it's not bad at all. Seriously, it's not bad at all.
I gotta check it
Because
out.
they incentivize you for watching.
Oh, okay.
You can watch and get coins, stuff like that.
Oh.
People do that.
Oh.
People do
Yeah,
that.
give you what you
Okay.
want.
They
Good
give
point.
you what you want, but then again, you buy low. So that's kind of a thing. And then the fourth trend that YS predicted was the AI automation or AI automated marketing, which is like,
CBO.
the CBO
Okay.
and detailed targeting attributes, detailed targeting expansion being on, and Google Ads also having this like some automation already going in. And I believe, which I always say, the platform has grown to a level or to a point where their AI is very dependable right now.
Yep.
It's reliable and dependable. You can actually really count on them to get you the better result that you want.
I
Okay,
get a
so
lot of
that's
good
the-
result from the Google UAC, Universal Ad
Yeah,
Campaign also.
and correct. Manfred shared a lot about that. And the fifth one is data-driven attribution. Okay, this one is a bit difficult, but then again, the bottom line is get your bloody pixel and GA and everything set up properly.
At the very
Okay.
minimum, yes.
That's the bare minimum, right? If you can't do it yourself, if you can't crack your head about that, right, hire someone else to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Fiverr.
So if you guys want to connect with YS, then this is the link. And,
By the way,
you guys can
all
connect
this
with-
1 hour is just a teaser. He knows more.
Yeah.
talk to him, man. Seriously, please go over and talk to him. But
The
guys, if
tip
you guys
of
are
the iceberg.
listening, if you guys are
tip of the
listening to the so-called the podcast version on Spotify and Apple Podcast, right?
Apple Podcast.
The only way to really get the most of this is really go back to the video, because a lot of links are being shared over there. Now, website of the week. Who's going to do that?
YS is doing it.
Okay, so website of the week is where we actually share one tool to the users, and I already have the link over here. But YS, you want to share the screen? You may.
Okay. Sharing my screen right now.
Bringing it up as I see it.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
So this tool that I love is actually called Webalizer. Essentially, it's a free tool. So what it does is when you install the Chrome version, so the Google Chrome plugin over here, go to any of your competitors' website, I would say. So for instance, I'll just pick up an example. In Singapore, we have this telco brand that we number one telco brand
Love and hate.
Love and hate, yes, correct. Singtel.com. So what happens here, right now I'm on this platform itself. You can see my Google Chrome is telling me there's 28. There's the number 28 over here already. So what it does is it actually reads the MarTech stack of this website. Okay, Webalizer reads the MarTech stack of the website. Okay, this website itself, they are running on Adobe Experience Manager. I can see they have their Google X stack installed. Okay, they have chat functions installed and so on. Amazon Web Service, they're probably doing a bit of testing on their website, Google Optimize and so on. So if I would just look at their competitor, right, then I can do a quick comparison. Okay, what kind of tech stack are you using that our competitor are not? What kind of tech stack is our competitor using and we are not, and so on. So Webalizer, you will go to the compiler website, and you usually do a scan and tell you what are the different
Yep.
tech stack there's built.
Wow, this is very
Wow.
That's
interesting.
all they have. Only Apache servers.
No, I
No,
think
I
it
think it's
takes a
not
while
load-
to load also.
load.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while to load,
Yeah.
but I guess the link is being shared on the chat, right?
Yep.
Manfred, yes.
Webalizer. I like it.
Webalizer. YS, just want to check. Do you use build with?
Built
Build with
with.
another
Yes.
Chrome.
So
Chrome, yeah.
so it's something similar. Yes. Built with is
Something
something
similar.
similar.
So is there any
Correct.
differences? Any differences that you actually
I-
prefer this one?
Yeah, I usually use this one most of the time. Yeah,
Okay,
but it's
next time I will
similar.
try
Built
this
with
one.
and Webalizer.
Build with
Because number
the advantage with build with is they give you the industry. So, for example, if you want to locate Shopify stores, you go with build with because they give you a whole list of companies that's using or basically on that Shopify platform. But with web app, I don't know how you pronounce that.
appetizer.
Yeah, you have to do one by one. So
Yeah.
if I say, Manfred, show me all the Singapore e-commerce store that's running on Shopify, you got to go with build with. You can't go with this one.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I mean, that's the website of the week. Thank you so much, YS, for sharing this. But before we
Audience
go,
comments?
right, we cannot just let all these comment go unanswered, right? So let's go through a
Absolutely,
bit,
right.
right? So Chiwa was saying Copy Shark, Creative got Canva, Video got Lumen 5. All right, that's very true. Also AI,
Yes.
right? So go play with that. And Crystal was saying, you notice you're not moved by movie stars in ads anymore. Instead of Manfred, right? Manfred, you moved by Manfred because he's a micro influencer. I'm just saying. Can all be, man? You can.
Absolutely.
Right? And Mazida was
Absolutely.
saying, great discussion, thank you. And Crystal say you enjoy our chats, thank you. And
Pleasure,
Mazida was saying, marketplace for B2B, is this suitable? Well, I would say not really.
Not yet.
Marketplace, maybe.
Because
But
of approval
marketplace is very much on the direct consumer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's B2B, maybe not. Okay.
Yep.
And we have some kind of like spam comments on my YouTube channel. It happens all the time. And Richard say very cheap, few hundred per session only to pay Shopee, Lazada, do everything for you. That's very true. That means you have
good.
tried. I mean, you can pay them for that, but if you are a partner, then you get this free. You just need to commit to do what you do.
Okay.
And okay, I shared the story about the live, which my student just shared with me the other day when I was
Interesting.
discussing. So it's a very interesting one. So how to handle iOS 14.5? Okay, Android 12, because they impact data collection and attribution. It's not all digital touch points. I mean, just a quick one. What's your take on this?
I think so this will be a long conversation, but the quick take is ads platforms and the different advertisers has prepared this for a long time ago. So if you look at Facebook ads, right, they have their aggregated events, aggregated measure events. So they have prepared for this for a long time ago.
Yeah, so in a way, I mean, if you're talking about you're not getting 100% accurate, but I think 100% accurate is not happening in any way. So you just have to give and take. At least to a certain extent, we are able to capture most of them, right? Like, because the next one, Richard is saying, UTM also can get broken and check out. I mean, well,
It is what it is.
technically, fix it.
Possible,
We find ways to fix it, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Cost
either
domain
way.
tracking, all these things can be done.
Yeah, so all this the thing, right? So Chia is saying something like build with. I think it's a similar one, okay?
Yep.
And build with is also scary. It gives you audit of. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
And Krista say love the energy. Thank you. And Ivan said good selection on tactics and tools. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And wow, that's like 11:13. We overrun, but I don't think you'll mind. That's what we do. Really,
Yes.
thank you so much, YS, for joining us tonight and your predictions. We really maybe look forward to actually have you again next year, right, in the December. Maybe we can do this.
Do a
Next year is
refresher.
next month. Oh, next month. Results.
Shut up lah, next December lah, next year.
Then you bring a bigger crystal ball.
Yeah, you really have to bring a crystal ball. Then you have to wear the kind of like bohemian dress and all whatnot, right? That's a very interesting one.
And bring your
But really,
R2D2 really go and project you.
maybe next year the camera or whatnot getting better already, right? Then he will probably become a Jedi or whatnot.
Yeah, he has his own stage.
Yeah, why not, right? Thank you so much for sharing all these predictions. And guys, thank you so much for watching us up to now. Remember, this is the Three Marketeers Show. We go live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. If you like us, remember to hit subscribe and follow. And I'll see you next week, same time, Wednesday at 10 p.m. for another show. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thank you.
YS, join us in the
Bye-bye.
backstage. Yeah.
Yeah, YS, I see you at the backstage. Don't go. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Have fun.